I'm ready. I'd like to call to order the Lee County Zoning Board of Appeals Thursday, July 7th, 2022. Would you call the roll, please? Here.
Craig Burrow, not present. Glenn Hughes, not present. Rex Meyer.
Here.
Mike Pratt.
Here. First part of the agenda is the approval of the previous minutes from April 7th, May 4th, May 9th, May 12th, June 16th, and June 27th.
And I don't have those prepared yet,
Those prepared, so we're
so we cannot approve them. I'm sorry.
not going to approve them. And do we have a motion to adjourn pursuant to any county board?
No. Okay, 2 weeks.
Nothing. So now we go to old business. Old business. Do we do these in conjunction with each other? Yes.
I think we could do them together. Same petitioner, same attorney. So,
Okay, so I'm going to read both petitions for old business.
okay.
Okay, for old business, start out with petition number 22-P-1593, Lee County Zoning Office, permit parcel number 19-22-05-400-006 in Sublet Township. The Lee County Zoning Office is asking for a revocation of a special use permit pursuant to 10-2D-3 of the Lee County Code. Second one is petition 22-P-1594, Lee County Zoning Office, permanent parcel number 19-22-08-200-002, formerly known as permanent parcel number 19-22-08-200-002 in Sublet Township. Lee County Zoning Office is asking for a revocation of the special use permit pursuant to 10-2D-3 of the Lee County Code. Petitioner present. That would be you.
Yes.
Okay. Would you state your case?
This was presented to the zoning board last month, recently, and this matter was continued to tonight for status on the court case regarding the Adam turbine. So we're here tonight to get that status from either Mr. or Mrs. Pappage or their attorney.
I'd be happy to speak up if you'd like. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Perfect, thank you. And I apologize, I'm not there in person tonight, but I appreciate being able to use a Zoom platform. Hopefully what you should have in your hands is a litigation status letter written from the lead counsel involved, representing FPC Investments and the Pappages in the litigation here pending in Lee County. It's Attorney DeMonte. From his letter, you'll see there's 7 defendants involved in the litigation case here. All 7 of them are corporations. They each have their own expert witnesses, and each of them have a right to have their expert witnesses test the turbine and the blades that are down. So it's been a bit of a struggle, I would say, to coordinate with everyone's schedule. But as far as I can tell, the testing is still going on. The case is pending before Judge Klon. Judge Klon has made it clear on the record that he expects all defendants to cooperate with the discovery stage and to expedite it as much as possible so that those blades can get picked up and removed from this land and then taken somewhere else to preserve the blades. The Pappages are kind of between a rock and a hard spot, if you will, because they have a duty to preserve the evidence in the current litigation case. But they also understand that the blades need to be picked up and moved, here before the Zoning Board of Appeals. So I'm happy to go through what the letter says. Hopefully you have it in front of you and have had an opportunity to review that. The next status date for that litigation case is set for August 29th of this year. The judge has made it clear that he expects all written discovery to be completed. So if you're familiar with litigation, there's really 3 stages or phases is what I would call it. The first would be the initial pleading stage. The next one is the discovery phase. That's where each party gets to send out interrogatories, requests to produce. The parties will also conduct depositions. And again, with all these different experts involved, I can't exactly say how long that'll take. There's just a lot of schedules that are going to have to be worked around to accomplish that. But what I would request is that, we come back for another status update. I would say maybe even a couple months after that August 29th status date so that I can better advise you as to where the status is on discovery and when we can reasonably expect those blades to be picked up. You'll also note in this letter, Attorney DeMonte has hit on that GSG3 has not abandoned the use of the Adam turbine. Rather, it's maintained and used the components of this turbine that are still operational. They still keep it heated. They still have several inspections being done. And as far as I can understand, if there was, a need to get to Eve or shut down Eve, they would have to do that through Adam. So we would maintain that Adam is still somewhat being used and that use has not been abandoned.
Okay,
So say that again about they have to use Adam to get to Eve.
Yes, and Bruce, you might be best to speak on this topic if you wouldn't mind getting to a mic. Don't want to misstate something.
Excuse me. ComEd has their interconnection control in the basement of the Adam turbine, where it has communication with their offices here in Dixon, so that if they have any emergency islanding, anything that they need to shut down production, they can press a button there and it will send communication to Adam and Eve to turn off immediately and stop producing. So it's a safety issue. And then also with the communication back and forth on when it's producing, what it's producing, so they know how to schedule all of their production in conjunction with it.
Is Eve operational?
Yes, Eve is operational.
So what's the neighbor's opinion about these blades that are intruding on?
We are, he lets me know how much it affects his production and that there is a monetary value to that, and then he will get compensated for that.
So does it normally take 3 years to get to this point?
It does.
Go ahead.
It does when you have COVID thrown in there. I remember this case. I actually helped out on this case as local counsel back when they needed, a warm body to show up to court just for status hearings. And then with COVID, people were allowed to appear by Zoom. So I was no longer needed on this. But this case in large part was stalled out due to COVID, at least a year and a half. And then as they went on, there were more party defendants added. So every time a defendant is added, it almost restarts the process because that defendant has the right to go through that initial pleading stage as well.
Why can you not store the blades at a different location?
I could not.
Why are you unable to store the blades at a different location in order to preserve them for the case?
They can store them at a different location. They're not allowed to move them because everybody has a right to test them in their initial spot. Moving them could cause any type of damage, which would skew any burden of proof that a party would need to bring in that litigation matter. So that everybody has a right to test it where it's at right now, so they can best decide or figure out what exactly happened. And then they will be immediately moved off site to a different location and held there pending that litigation or the resolution of the litigation.
So who decided to take the blades down? GSG or the insurance company?
The insurance company.
Yes.
They have the right to do that?
Under their policy, they wanted to investigate it and they wanted to bring them down. It wasn't necessary, but they insisted on it. And they
What-
even, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. What makes it a little more complicated is my understanding of the nature of the litigation is that there's really two claims pending. It was the damage caused in the ice storm that took place in February of 2019. The insurance company, these are all allegations made, so just understand that the insurance company went to look at the turbine and then caused further damage when they removed the blades. So there's really two claims pending before the court, which complicates things and drags it out.
Yeah. I think not.
Okay,
We're just getting a status update, Mike.
so we really shouldn't be hearing any testimony at this time because it's just a status update.
We don't have to make a decision to extend.
Nothing.
There is no decision being made tonight, no action to be taken by the board.
Only decision that this board will make is when do we want to hear the next status?
Or if we want to move it on to an actual hearing.
If I may speak to another status date, like I said, the next status date in the litigation matter is set for August 29th. We'll have a better idea then of if, how long discovery will last or, what needs to be done from there. Selfishly, for personal reasons, I would request a couple months out from that date anyways. I'm expected to go on maternity leave beginning August 18th. So if I could have a couple months, if we're going to go forward with the full hearing, that's fine. I've just asked for a couple months leeway to allow me time to do that.
Whatever you guys want to do that regarding this petition, that is your decision. I would like to move forward on the other petition regarding the hotel conference center. On the hotel conference, the revocation of the special use permit for the hotel conference center. That's the second petition. And that one's not tied into any litigation. The special use was granted for a hotel conference center. That hasn't occurred. Even if he has other desired uses for the property, he would still have to come into compliance with any zoning required. And if it was a special use, he'd have to get another special use specific to the proposed use.
Let's go ahead and table the first one until October and move to the second one. Do we have to have a motion for moving it to October? Let's do that.
Oh, yeah.
Give a status update.
Status update
First
in
of
October.
We have a second, Mike.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to get us our next status update in the month of October. And I would assume we would do it if we were having a zoning meeting, so it would be the first Thursday of the month.
Would be maybe the 6th, Thursday, October 6th.
Thursday, October the 6th.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Again.
October 6th is a Thursday.
What's that? October 6th is a Thursday. So with that, do we hear any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Thoughts on number 2?
How long has it been? 3 years, right?
It's been longer than 3 years. I don't recall a use coming out of there. Maybe you can hear from Bruce and he can update us.
The original petition was for hotel conference center maintenance building and for a wind turbine on that site as well. And then the 2008 meltdown in the whole country happened. So then we moved ahead with the maintenance building, which is the maintenance building for our turbines, where we store spare parts and so on. And we filed for a building permit to upgrade the building in, I have to look at the building permit again, but I think it was 2013. And we were issued the building permit with ag special use, because that's what part of it was on there by Chris Henkel. And then we built the building and it's been there ever since. And that's our storage yard. That's our, like I said, where we store spare parts and so on. So we're, with the economy, we're not doing the conference center or the wind turbine on that, because we sold off a lot of the land, which we had done prior to. We had gone from 76 acres to 35 and then down again. And that was done as we got the building permit with the ag special use on it for the maintenance building. And that's where it sits now. That has, control connections with the turbine, fiber optics. And the, at that time, it was the internet connection for it as well. We've moved the internet connection to a different location, but it's still in communication with the turbines there, so we can control them there and other places.
So tell me whose name the special use for the hotel conference center is in. Is it GSG? Is it in Bruce's name?
I don't have the petition in front of me, so I'm not
I don't either.
even able to answer that question right now.
But initially you petitioned the county for a museum
Was museum, conference center,
conference.
and it was all in the same presentation, the PowerPoint presentation that we made in front of the zoning board and the county board on the museum, conference center, the hotel, which was all one, a turbine, and the maintenance and control buildings for it. That was all in that presentation at the same time. And then, like I said, then the 2008 meltdown hit. By the time everybody got back and we could deal with the Shady Oaks project, which was named GSG 6 at the time, and get that underway, then the industry had kind of moved on and more other people had done what we were going to do. So it didn't make sense then to do it because it wouldn't have been cost effective. So then we just brought it down to the maintenance building when we got the permit to build, and was explained to Chris at that time, this is what we're doing now, but it was still in the original presentation and the request.
I don't want to go into too much since no one's under oath and we're not in a hearing. How to proceed.
What are we doing here then? Just having him talk to us?
Supposed to be, it was strictly for status. You guys had tabled these petitions to this date for a status.
Well, I think we need to make a hearing for this petition and get the details presented under oath. We can clean it up. I don't think we need to wait till October. Plus Courtney's going to represent them or something.
And she does.
If we could do it before August 18th, that works for me. We can do it sooner. Otherwise, I can even try to line up coverage from someone from my office. I would just prefer to handle it if I can.
Yeah, we could do it. Yeah, we could.
Okay.
Nothing else pending right now.
I make a motion, we have a hearing on this on August 4th. This petition.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Courtney, is that gonna work for you?
That works for me. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We'll put this petition on the official agenda on the 4th of August.
Thank you.
Anything else for this evening?
Not involving Courtney or the Papiches matters. I was under the impression that you wanted to discuss the proposed ordinances.
I would say we could adjourn the meeting and just have a discussion then. That's what you want to do?
That would be a violation of the open meetings.
There's 3 here.
Okay.
So any discussion we'd have to have on record. They just came out this afternoon. I don't even know if you guys have had a chance to review them. Okay, so we can hold off. The Renewable Energy Committee, though, is on Monday looking to potentially move these on to the Properties Committee to begin the finalization process. And just so you're aware of that.
Something that we can actually review on August 4th.
I mean, you can,
It will be going to the Planning Commission possibly the beginning of August.
if the Renewable Energy Committee on Monday decides to move them on, 1, 2, or all 3 of them, they'll go to properties. Properties will move it to the county board. The county board will then have to send it to Planning Commission for a public hearing. Planning will send it back to the county board where it'll be held over for a month before it's voted on. So by August 4th, we're going to be well into that process.
They don't really want any input from us. If they're not gonna present it to us, other than what you're doing.
Mr. Norberg is on, and I made him aware that you might possibly be having the discussion tonight. So that's why he is with us on Zoom.
You don't want any input from us.
I'm very open to any and all input. That's why the conversation is on Monday. We need to move this forward. I've gotten enough grief over the moratorium after being extended once already. So we now, with the 3-month moratorium in place, this is the time frame that we need to get it done on. But the nice thing is, review it. It goes to properties. We could still make any and all changes up into planning. Once planning hears it, comes back to the county board. We have to go with what the recommendation and what comes back from planning. So we do have a short time period, but we do have 30 days for any and all discussions and information to be passed on to Alice D or myself to update and make the ordinance better. There wasn't a ton of changes. Most of it, and Alice and D will attest to, a lot of it was around decommissioning and cleaning up some language. Setbacks are still the same. Mike, I know PI points were, for all of us who are farmers, PI makes a lot more sense than LISA scores. That's now factored into the ordinance rather than LISA scores, which keeps development closer to municipalities, where I think we're all in agreement that renewable energies need to be farther away from municipalities. So it's left it, and what I love from it is it's left it very gray, which all attorneys seem to like, especially Mr. Boonstra seems to like that part of the ordinance, but it gives us the ability to craft it as such with each individual parcel having to stand on its own.
Okay, well, it's just the logistics. We can't get it at 4 o'clock this afternoon and then have a discussion and do anything. So we need to-
Absolutely, I agree, Mike. We do have a renewable energy meeting at 10 o'clock of Monday. That's why we set it for that. We actually initially set it for Friday, but once again, I can't get it at 4 o'clock on Thursday and be ready to make my decision at 9 o'clock on a Friday. So we set it for 10 o'clock on Monday. That gives everybody 4 days to review it. Alice and myself have spent countless hours on this, so I'm very comfortable with where it's at and where it's going. Is it perfect? I don't know. We won't know until we have another petition, but I believe it's definitely protecting the interests of the county moving forward. And that's the goal of the ordinance.
Pretty good.
So please read it, please look at it. If you have any changes, suggestions, ideas, questions, more than happy to reach out to me. And I'll give you my 2 cents on why we're going a certain route with the ordinance, and because you guys are the ones who ultimately have to do the hearing of it. So to understand it, there is some rationale behind it. Something as simple as there's a lot of things that continue to come up in this renewable energy sector.
Guys are definitely more than welcome to join us Monday for the meeting as well, and provide your input then, if you're able to do so.
When is the meeting on Monday?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Good.
And it is on Zoom, so if you can't appear in person, there is a Zoom link and I can get you that information.
Great. Anything else? If not, I have a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Meeting is adjourned.